This video is going to be my best attempt to, without getting frustrated and exasperated, have a conversation with folks who think that No King's Day didn't fix anything or was pointless. This conversation cycles on leftist social media after every protest. First of all, everybody loves to say, this wasn't a real protest, it was just a march or a rally. Okay, fine. I'm not going to get frustrated. I don't care about being pedantic about semantics. I am a little frustrated that after April 5th hands off, after the first No King's Day, and now after the second No King's Day, we are still having this conversation. But I guess that says that there's still an opportunity here. There's still a need here to communicate what No King's Day was about and how we build a coalition that can actually stop fascism. So this comment was left on a video that one of my mutuals made. So that's one of the main reasons that I'm making this, is I want to have a respectful, productive conversation. Let me show you a little clip of what they said, because I think it's a pretty accurate representation of most of the kinds of videos I'm seeing expressing this sentiment. And don't go give them any hate.
Let's be honest with ourselves. The No Kings protest amounted to a glorified parade. So now what? You built those numbers, surround politicians with those numbers. Use the connections you made while protesting. Go to politicians' houses. The government is shut down right now. They are not in session. They are not in the White House. They are not in the government offices. So surrounding government offices is not going to do any good. If you're going to make a statement, make them fear. If you're going to organize, come to a consensus on the effect that you want to have. Otherwise, you're just marching down the street in a fancy parade with homemade signs. Your protest is meaningless without further action. Your protest is meaningless without further organization.
Okay, right off the bat, I'm going to say I don't think that the next step is to go sit outside the houses of politicians. But I think that there are a number of good points that are made here, and I want to get to those. But calling No King's Day a glorified parade, I don't think it's helpful framing. I also don't think that it's accurate. I completely 100 million% agree that that cannot be the totality of people's engagement in resistance work. Otherwise, if that's all they do and they think that that's going to stop fascism, then we really have a lot to teach them, right? We have done a poor job of communicating the kind of work that needs to be done to stop this. So I absolutely agree. There needs to be next steps. Now, this video, I think, was more constructive than a lot of videos I've seen that say, like, did it fix anything? It's just a parade. It's just a bunch of people feeling good. It's just people with cardboard signs and lattes. I've seen so many people on Blue Sky who've basically been like, ugh, this is just a bunch of normies thinking they're going to do something. My YouTube comments have been full of people who are like, this didn't do anything. But it did, y'all. It did do something. It was the largest single day of protest in American history. Yeah, we've had other larger gatherings. We could talk about Earth Day, etc. But this was specifically a protest. It really was a protest. I think a couple of things here. Number one, when I see people saying it was just a march, it was just a parade, it was just like some kind of feel-good event, you must be in a blue state, a blue dot in a blue state. You must be somebody in Portland, Oregon, who could go to No Kings and be like, this is really fun and really safe. I have heard from so many people who are in deeply red areas who organized or went to a No King's Day event. Y'all don't understand the level of risk that they were incurring. It took a tremendous amount of bravery for those folks to step out. A lot of people in my comments went by themselves. They didn't know how many people would be going. They didn't know any other people resisting because they live in a sea of red. And then they were so surprised, pleasantly surprised, to see how many other people turned out. Folks in deeply red areas faced coal rollers. They faced far more counter-protesting, agitators, angry MAGA. If you think that No King's Day was performative and did not require some level of risk and sacrifice, then I really think that you should go talk to more people in red parts of the country. in communities that are profoundly MAGA. You should go talk to people who are resisting there. Royalty One, No King's Day was not supposed to fix anything. And I think that this is a really good illustration of how a lot of people on the left a lot of people in the United States think that there's going to be a quick fix. The reality that we're living now was decades in the making. Conservatives have been working at this for decades, right? There's no quick fix. This is going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take years for us to get out of it. Back in February, I made a video where I was like, I don't think the average American understands the level of sacrifice that we're going to need to undertake in order to stop fascism. And people got really mad at me. People got really mad at me back in February. And now in October, I think more people are like, oh yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to be smug and be like, I told you so, but it takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of organizing, a lot of bringing people into the movement so that we can build those muscles that we need to flex for bigger, more effective actions. It didn't magically fix anything on October 18th to have more than 7 million people turn out in the streets. It never was going to do that. That wasn't the point of the event. There is no quick fix. And I think too many people on the left think that there should be. They're frustrated. They want this over already. We need to learn some long suffering, some perseverance, because this is a long battle. And I still think we all need that radical acceptance about what is going to be required of us and how long it's going to take. I think this also speaks to the people in my comments who are like, are we done with nonviolent resistance yet? Can we move on to violence? First of all, I'm always suspicious of somebody who falsely believes that violence is more effective than nonviolence. And I'm also really coming to understand that those people just want this to be done quickly. And they think that an escalation to violent tactics will stop all of this sooner instead of sabotaging the resistance movement, which is what it will do. But there is no magic button that you can put. There's no like grand Hogwarts battle or whatever you want to think of that's going to suddenly bring an end to all of this. This is a long haul. This is a marathon. We are living through history. We are making history. This is the work of our lifetimes for a lot of us. And I really appreciate what my mutual said at the beginning in their video of like, this can't be the end. This has to be the beginning of something more. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. People cannot be content with just showing up on a Saturday. We have to get them to engage in bigger, more sustained actions. We have to build their skills. We have to build connections with other people. We have to create solidarity in order to build a movement. We have to build coalitions of different groups of people and like build trust and make sure that we have a shared communication platform. We have a shared vocabulary. We have a shared understanding, shared tactics, and we start to work together. That's why I so frequently, not just me, but also like Indivisible and Big Tent USA, we talk about that coalition building. It's requiring a mass movement of millions and millions of people to figure out how to work together, have shared goals, have a shared strategy, and then enact that strategy. That is a huge, complicated lift. And at the same time, while millions and millions of us have this like big shared strategy, we're all also engaging in all of those small acts of resistance that are really diverse, right? We have found our little niche and we are making sure that we are carrying out those actions on a regular basis. We are resisting every day in every way that we possibly can. And then also at the same time, we have these bigger lifts, these really big actions that we are all moving toward, that we take as a group, that we flex together, all like our big collective muscle. We have to have smaller events with a low barrier to entry to bring people into the movement. So when you say, did it fix anything? It tells me that you don't understand yet how to build a movement. So I'm trying not to be frustrated, but I want you to understand this is the first step toward fixing it. We are still way back here building our collective power. You want these bigger actions that will get us out of this mess. You have to have a plan that steps us up incrementally. You have to build the power. You have to build the collective that can work together. You have to build people's skills. No King's Day was not just a glorified parade. It was a recruitment event. And now we have to follow up with those people. Now we have to make sure that we reach out to those people. We develop relationships and say, hey, you matter. Your contribution matters. We need you here engaged in this work. It's not enough to show up on a Saturday, but it matters that people showed up on a Saturday. Do you understand? It matters that they showed up. These are regular Americans, so many of whom have never been to a protest before. I heard from so many people that Saturday was the first time they have ever been to something like this. We have to welcome them in and help them level up. So no, Saturday didn't magically fix anything, but we need to encourage more people to step out for events like No King's Day and join the party.